7 years' time across 3 different continents to mark the centenary of the first edition of the tournament. But Blatter, who was in charge of FIFA from 1998 until 2015, criticized the move by current FIFA president Gianni Infantino. The 87-year-old administrator told Swiss newspaper Sonntagsblick it is absurd to tear the tournament apart in this way. The World Cup finals must be a compact event. In 1930, the first World Cup was hosted and subsequently won by Uruguay, and whilst the country has been selected to host one of the opening trio of matches, Blatter believes the continent should be hosting all the matches. For historical reasons, the 2030 World Cup should have belonged exclusively in South America, Blatter said. In recent years, Blatter has been in the headlines for the wrong reasons for his involvement in one of football's most infamous corruption scandals during his time as FIFA president. In 2015, Blatter and former UEFA chief Michel Platini were both banned from football for 8 years over claims the former had unlawfully paid a Frenchman £1.7 million back in 2011. The bans were later reduced, and last year the pair were cleared of corruption charges by a federal criminal court in Switzerland. Blatter had claimed the payment followed a gentleman's agreement from when Platini was a technical advisor in 1998. Since leaving FIFA, Blatter has spoken out about proposed changes to the World Cup, including to expand it to 48 countries 2026 World onwards. Alongside Uruguay, Argentina, Paraguay will host the opening games of the 2030 World Cup before the action switches to Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. All 6 host countries will qualify automatically for the 48-team tournament, with South America's allocation of automatic qualifiers set to be cut down. Spain, Portugal, and Morocco were the favorites to host in 2030 since announcing their joint bid earlier this year. But Uruguay and Argentina wanted to mark the centenary of the first World Cup final between the two nations 93 years ago. In an unprecedented move, FIFA have explained the bidding process for the 2030 and 2034 World Cups with a question and answer session. Mail Sports' Nick Harris previously reported that it was a done deal that the 2034 World Cup would be heading to Saudi Arabia, as FIFA confirmed it would have to be held in either Asia or Oceania. American football. NFL Week. NFL Week 5 review and results. 49ers dominate Dallas and Eagles beat Rams as both sides stay unbeaten. The San Francisco 49ers enjoyed an emphatic 42-10 victory over old enemies, the Dallas Cowboys, to join the Philadelphia Eagles as the only 5-0 sides in the NFL. The Niners enjoyed their biggest win of their storied rivalry with Dallas, while the Eagles powered to a tough win at the Los Angeles Rams. Miami's high-flying attack broke another record, and the New England Patriots suffered another embarrassing loss. The pair of 5-time Super Bowl winners have had an epic rivalry down the years, fighting in playoff games, 2 of which San Francisco have won in the last 2 years. But this one was one-way traffic from the start. Quarterback Brock Purdy moved to 10-0 as a starter with 4 touchdown passes in another clinical showing, and Christian McCaffrey scored for the 14th game running to continue what is now the 4th longest streak in NFL history. And while the Niners unloaded on what was the league's toughest defense coming in, Dak Prescott was bemused and befuddled by San Francisco's unit as he threw 3 interceptions and was sacked 3 times. So while it is back to the drawing board for the Cowboys, the 49ers sent a huge warning to the rest of the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles has not been as flashy as the 49ers, but they are also 5-0 for the 2nd year running after another solid defense effort and a powerful run game in their 23-14 win at the Los Angeles Rams. The Eagles came thanks to their all-powerful offensive line, which was unstoppable again when they performed what has become known as the brotherly shove or tush push, similar to a rolling maul in rugby union, when the entire team helped to push Jalen Hurts into the end zone from close range. Philly looked determined to get back to the Super Bowl after last season's loss to Kansas City Chiefs, who are taking control of the AFC again after edging the Minnesota Vikings 27-20 to improve to 4-1. The win gave Patrick Mahomes the full set, as he has now beaten all 31 other teams in the NFL and is the first quarterback to do it under the age of 30, with just a 1-point defeat against them and plenty of room for improvement. the defending Super Bowl champions look a scary prospect, with the only worry being an ankle injury Travis Kelce picked up just before scoring what turned out to be the winning touchdown. F1. FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem wants more teams and fewer races. Formula One should have more teams and fewer races, according to FIA President. The Emiratis' comments come in the context of the US-based Andretti organization's bid to enter F1, as well as an expanding global schedule of Grand Prix, which is set to reach a record 24 next season. Commercial rights holder F1 will have the final call over whether to admit Andretti, and bin Sulayem appear to warn against any defiance of the FIA's approval. Saying no to a team which has been approved by the FIA is very hard, bin Sulayem told Reuters. Last week, the motorsport governing body gave its approval for Andretti's bid to enter F1, which is a joint venture with US car giant General Motors' Cadillac brand. The FIA rejected 3 other potential candidates, including New Zealand's Rodin Cars, saying they did not fulfill all the necessary criteria. The bid process has moved on to commercial discussions with F1, owned by US company Liberty Media. Its bosses have sounded lukewarm in public about the prospect of an 11th team and are widely believed in private to be opposed to the idea. Bin Sulayem pointed out that F1's rules allow for up to 12 teams, and that sport would benefit from new car manufacturers, otherwise known as original equipment manufacturers, OEMs. The FIA should be begging OEMs to come in. We should not just say no to them, he said. If you say, what is my dream? It is to fill up the 12 and to have one US team from an OEM and a power unit and a driver from there, and then go to China maybe and ask for the same thing and do it. The current 10 F1 teams who do not have a formal say in the admission of any entrant are unilaterally opposed to the idea on financial grounds because it will reduce their share of the sports prize fund. Any new entrant is required to pay a $200 million, that is £164 million anti-dilution fee to current teams in order to compensate for the loss in prize money. But teams say this is insufficient following F1's increased success in recent years and should instead cost new competitors close to $1 billion, that is £820 million. They point out that some teams are still struggling financially despite the introduction of a budget cap 2 years ago, and that it is only 5 years half the grid was in danger of collapse. The smaller teams have recently negotiated a bigger allowance in sliding committed spending on infrastructure to allow them the chance to build up facilities to rival those of the top teams. Gab Ellison reporting from Undaunted, ABC Amba News.
All right, thank you.